One of the biggest fuck ups in, I guess you can say, political history, and one of the most massive polling errors we have ever seen. And it's polling that overestimated Republicans, shockingly enough, in places where when Republicans are typically overestimated. Not this case. This is not the case this time. Currently, we are seeing a blue puddle, as Politics Made Simple would call it, instead of this massive red tsunami we are promised. Even CNN's exit polling was off, saying 45% of the nation was disapproving of Biden, inflation was the number one issue, and the economy, over 60% of people said the economy was bad. And even so, Democrats are still gaining in the Senate. They're still on track to win the House, possibly, and they're on track to gain seats in the governor's mansions. Taking a look at the Senate map, as we take a look here in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman won here in the state of Pennsylvania. He's currently on track to win by, I'd say, 2 or 3 points, a lean margin over Dr. Oz. That is a massive error fuck up. And Dr. Oz, of course, doing better in the suburbs, however, here in the Philadelphia suburbs, but doing poorly in the white working class areas. That is true. We take a look at the state of Wisconsin, a state that I thought was going to go to Ron Johnson by over 10 points due to the massive polling error in Wisconsin being over 5 points and the fact that he was polling at around 2 or 3%. I was dead wrong. He's expected to win by 1%. That's not good. And 99% reporting this is essentially a Johnson victory. The energy was not here for the Democrats last night. It was not. Taking a look at Nevada, 72% reporting Adam Laxalt's leading by 2%. Honestly, I'm pretty sure this is going to go to Catherine Cortez Masto. I give UEP shit all the time, but he was right. Adam Laxalt's not going to win this, it seems like, right now. Taking a look at Arizona, Mark Kelly currently leads by 7 points, 63% reporting. This one I think leans GOP, but mostly a toss-up. Blake Masters could still end up winning here, giving us a flip in exchange for Pennsylvania. Next up, we go to the state of Georgia, 98% reporting. Raphael Warnock is leading by less than 1%. And yeah, this is going to go to a runoff and will most likely decide the balance of the Senate, the balance of power in the United States Senate, which may or may not end up in a Warnock victory or Walker victory. You just can't tell right now because of how bad of a night this was. Again, the energy was not there for Republicans. Let's take a look at the state of North Carolina. Ted Budd, he only wins by 3% overall, which is still overperforming Donald Trump, but not as much as what people thought. He was leading in the polling by like 5, 6 points. We take a look at Ohio. J.D. Vance, he only wins by around around 7 points, which is running a little bit under Donald Trump, a little bit even. He might get 8 points because it's at 97%. Iowa, Chuck Grassley, he only wins by 13%. New York, a race that I thought was going to be super competitive, or well, a likely margin. Chuck Schumer is currently winning by 12, but could get under 10 still with the ballots still remaining, but it doesn't seem like it. Maggie Hassan, one of the states that I got wrong. She's currently leading by 11 points with 81% in. She's probably going to win by a likely margin, anywhere from 5 to 6 points. So yeah, it looks like on track right now, we could be looking at a 50-50 Senate once again if Republicans do end up flipping Arizona. And then we have, well, it could be 54, it could be 50-49 with Georgia being the deciding factor. And Republicans will probably spend a lot of time in Georgia try to, take the Senate. Now, take a look at the House. God, this was really, really bad. Just in general. Just take a look at these numbers. Of course, currently we have Washington, Joe Kent, as well as Kim Schreier. They are both currently, as well, yeah, Marie Perez, she's probably going to end up losing to Joe Kent. She's only leading by around 7 points at 65%. Kim Schreier, her district, Maryland Strickland, this one could end up becoming competitive. However, I don't know where the votes are coming from. But Republicans aren't gaining seats. They're not. They're not gaining seats anywhere. They gained Virginia second. That's true. but they're not gaining anywhere. As you can see here, they haven't gained anything in New York, I don't believe. Actually, they did. They gained New York's third with the Rockefeller Republican, who's currently leading by a likely margin, could end up winning safe. He's currently winning as of right now. Or he has won. What am I talking about? Frank Mervyn, he's won. Marcy Kaptur, she has won. Hillary Scholten, she's won. John James is currently leading in his polling. Um, both New Hampshire seats went blue when, it was supposed to, at least one was supposed to go, um, when one was supposed to go red. Like, currently, Mike Erickson and Alex Garlatos, those two were lacking behind. Joe Biden, I think, got really lucky. Or the Democrats did a good job campaigning. I'll tell you what my takeaway for this is here in a little bit, but take a look at the governor's results. Right now, it could be looking like Democrats could end up making gains. As you can see, the entirety of the Rust Belt has gone blue. Currently, Josh Shapiro's winning by a safe margin like I thought. He's currently leading by 13 points. Could stay above 10% by the end of the day. Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer's leading by 8. That one could drop to 5%. She could be winning by a likely margin at the end of the day. Wisconsin, currently, Tony Evers is leading by 4 points. 4 points, guys. Like, these are races that should have been more competitive. Tim Walz, he's ending up winning by around 8 points. You know, Georgia, like, it's not that we didn't, like, there were some places in the country where there was a red wave. Let's take a look at Florida right now. Look at this. Ron DeSantis ended up winning roughly by 19 points. 19 points in the state of Florida. That's a massive shift. Like, he won Palm Beach, he won Miami-Dade, Osalosa, Pinellas, he won fucking whatchamacallit. He did really well. Like, same with Marco Rubio. Let's take a look at the Senate races again. Marco Rubio did extremely well. He won by around 16 points, and I was correct in saying DeSantis would overperform Rubio. He ended up winning massively. Not winning, he didn't win Palm Beach, of course, but he ended up winning by massive margins. So, in certain places, the red wave was there, like Florida. But elsewhere, it's like, what happened? But honestly, I think now we take a look at the state of Oregon. Currently, it's at 67% reporting. Republicans could end up winning the seat. However, that means you also have to take account for any potential Johnson vote dumps that we might see. So this could go either way. I'm going to say lean Republican right now, leaning to a Republican gain here. Nevada, Joe Lombardo is doing much better than Adam Laxalt. He's currently 5 points ahead of Steve Sisolak. This one I think leans Republican, though could go either way, which could offset losses in Massachusetts as well as Maryland, which somehow Westmore is underperforming. Somehow. Now we take a look at Arizona. This one, Carrie Lake is actually in good position. She's only down by 1% with 62% in. She's probably going to win by a big margin here in Arizona. So Republicans don't have to worry about Arizona. Michelle Lujan Grisham, she ended up beating Rocchetti by 6. Very upsetting. Now we go down to the state of Kansas. Laura Kelly is poised to win by around 2% at 99% reporting. They should just go ahead and call that race. But this was a really, really bad night for the Republicans. And let's talk about Lee Zeldin. He's trailing by 5 points, guys, 5 points. That's a good showing for a Republican in New York. It really is. But still, it's the red wave in New York. It was there. Like, Zeldin losing only by 5. That's really good. But I honestly think that the big problem with this night was that it was either that Donald Trump didn't get out here long enough, either that, which is unlikely, or that instead of nominating actual good candidates, we just nominated a bunch of nut jobs, just candidates that aren't really good, like Doug Mastriano in fucking Pennsylvania in the Georgia race. We just relied on the Republicans relied on the endorsement of one guy, and that settled it instead of making a choice for themselves. They're sheeple. That's what they are. It's everyone in this country is a sheeple apparently. Democrats, Republicans, they all are. This and the exit polling was good for Republicans. It really was. It's just the energy was not there. It really wasn't. Like, you can talk a big game all you want, but if you can't turn out voters, what the fuck is the point? Like, seriously, what's the point? Like, you know, I don't know what the national environment is. I don't. To me, it's looking like a D+2, D+1 national environment. A Democrat-leaning environment in 2022 with an unpopular president. Republicans, you have dropped the fucking ball. And I applaud the Democrats on their victory. Of course, the fraud notion's already coming out. I've seen people call fraud in Arizona and Pennsylvania for some fucking reason. But, yeah, this is my big takeaway from this. Massive fuck up on the Republicans' part. This the cat one saying peace, and these next 2 years are going to be interesting.